So, seeing as no one has really documented the 550BJ Thinkpad, I'm going to attempt to disassemble it in a way that doesn't break anything and is reversible so it can go back together, and in between preserve anything that needs preserving. I know that inside there is a hibernation battery that needs to come out. There's a lot of capacitors that are leaking on the motherboard and the two power related boards, and so hardest thing with this is that it's not the easiest one to get apart. However, I'll just show that this one does work. That is powering up to the easy setup. There we go. And hopefully I'm going to get it back into this state, but with the caps replaced, which are about to bring this machine down. It's not going to work if we don't do that. I've got a second machine that doesn't work, so I'm hoping to use some of the parts inside this to trial and error my way through the boards, work out what's not working, try and narrow it down. So let's turn this off. Now, what has already been removed from this machine is the screen bezel. Now that's held on by two screws here. On this one they've rusted, so they wouldn't come off, and it snapped the case. And then there are three screws underneath these little black triangles, little rubber triangles that pull out. So you've got to pull them out and get three there, two there. Then you just have to separate this a bit. It's probably gone a bit sticky, and gently pull this off. Once you've done that, you can get to the four screws around the LCD. One, two, three, and there should be a fourth one there. This panel sits on two little pointy out bits so it doesn't just fall off, and then it's held on by a power connector from the inverter on this side. It just comes off there, and then on the back there is this C2 one. So this panel has already been repaired. It had 8 3.3 microfarad, I think, resistors, capacitors along there, which were not obviously failed, but I've replaced them with ceramic ones. So that's the display out of the way. And the reason you need to take the display out is because you need to loosen this cable to take this lid off. Now, you've got to be really careful with this lid because it's held on by 4 screws here going into plastic that is extremely brittle. So what we'll do is we will pull this off, which is stuck down with glue. There we go. And now I'm going to put that in a position where we can lift it off eventually. And we're going to, it's not going to work. Okay, we're going to have to try and tilt that with the screws out. So we've got to get these 4 screws. Now this, you want to try and be as gentle as possible because the plastic is imminently going to fail. So we're going to reinforce that as well. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that will have released this metal piece. I've got to undo those. So there's another 2 screws here that's holding this piece of metal down. It's very small screws. I think these pieces of metals are trying to reinforce the hinge mechanism, spread the load, but I suspect not doing a very good job. So the trouble is here, you have to tilt it this way to get the screws out, and then it's got to kind of go back, which is not working, to try and ease this out. Oh, that's one side out. And come on. Hey, there we go. So this is common. That has snapped, which is, remember where that goes. Oh, that's from the front panel. So the front panel originally also screwed on there into those, and they've almost all broken. It's probably not a big deal, but on here you've got 4 tiny little recessed screws. I'm amazed they're in one piece, but like I've done with this other one, I've used epoxy kind of cement stuff to try and give them a wider base to reinforce them, so it goes around. Anyway, that's a different story. Now we want to make sure we're keeping track of all the screws because they are in different sizes. So these 4 were for the hinges. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to write hinges. And these 2, I was trying to work out what all these were for. These are sharing the load of the hinges. So I'm going to put these together from the other one. Hinge load metal, and need to remember that. So now we have essentially, oh, there's the other one, we have the ability to separate the top from the bottom. Let's put these here, and these were LCD screws. Let's give them their own square. LCD. Okay. So you've got this keyboard lifts up to reveal the bottom. This is where the printer paper comes out, and that has a bunch of screws need to come off that do often have symptoms of surface corrosion. So we've got one. Is that the same type? No, that would be same as that one. So you've got two at the top. That would be those two. Got, hopefully you can see there's two in the middle. Could be that. And that. You've got two on the right. That one's longer. Do I have a matching longer one? There. So these are kind of along the front. It's another long one. That would be there. And we have front right. That's also long. Front left. That's it. So right on here under keyboard, next is the base. So let's turn this over. Now I've already removed the battery, the panel for the RAM. I haven't removed the that's the hard drive. It's a hard drive door. That will just slide out. So on the bottom should be fairly obvious. There's two recessed, three recessed, four not recessed. Let's get them off. Start with the recessed one. So that's one recessed. We have four not recessed. Right, type. There we go. Two. Three. 4, 5, 5, 6, 7. Let's make a note. That is the base. I think these were from the other one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Missing one. Okay. And then the back, got one in the middle. Let's put that as, so don't forget it, the back. And that must be the other one. And I think that's it. I think so. Now you sort of have to prise the sides to separate the base from the keyboard. So I'm going to work my way around with a very slim butter knife and just release the little plastic tabs holding it on, so that pops up, and then you see that's actually loose now at the front. Then we've got on the side, get in there, it's a bit sticky there, separated. There we go. I think that's released. There we go. That's actually almost done the whole lot. Let's turn it over. We've got this side. Oh, I think that's loose. Just trying to separate it because it won't come apart. There's about 10 or 20 different connectors to separate still. So, and we essentially have this separated front and back. Now, I'm going to try and name these connectors as we do them, apart from the ones I don't know. So, I don't know this one. I don't know what that's for. I'm probably going to have to work it out. I also don't know this one, but it is printer related. So that's a little ribbon that has to be, it's got some sort of friction thing holding it in. Take that out. And one of the hardest ones, I'm going to go put it back on its back, is you have to take the RAM out. You've got a piece of black plastic in here, and then you'll see these folded up white connectors, and the white connectors are the printer, I think, power and some sort of parallel connector. So I've got to just pull those out. They're just held in with friction. 1, out, 2. So these have to be pulled through tiny gap here. But we may well, oh yeah, there we go. So one at a time, because there's not a lot of room. Pull that through and pull that through. There we go. So that's half of it disconnected. Then, just a bit further down here, I don't want to pull anything, but we've got a ribbon here. I don't know what it does. Ribbon here. Don't know what that does. I put that down. One of these. They can only go back into one place, so when you put them back, you can't really get them mixed up. Another ribbon here. That's the floppy drive. No, it's not. I don't know what that is. We've got this one. It's held on clips either side. Pulls out. Another one. Some of these will be keyboard. Some of them will be the connectors along the top of the keyboard. Some of them will be indicator LCDs or LEDs. And some will be for the printer. There we go, separated. So, there we go. There's the top and there is the bottom. So this isn't as complicated as it looks. We've got the motherboard and we have two daughter boards. One you can see, one which is underneath. I think they are both power related, although this one has some chips on it, so probably doing something else. Maybe if I worked out what those connectors did, it would reveal more. Maybe it's the power supply for the printer and underneath the power supply for the laptop itself. So you've got a hibernation battery there that's going to be dead and going to be a disaster if it's left. We have IDE cables for the hard drive. You have one going underneath. I think that probably goes to the floppy drive. So let's get it apart. So it's two screws at the back here. One, two. So I'm going to call these. That one's got a washer around it on the right. So that's the right, that's the left. Do I have anything that looks like that? That one. So this is the back of the main board. Back of motherboard. To release these three ribbons, floppy, IDE, I think it's IDE, just slide out. That one will have to be released as I lift the board up. And it's hibernation battery here, that's coming out and not going back in. What's this? This is some sort of, that's going to the battery, if there was a battery. These don't seem to come with batteries. They've got a big blanking piece of plastic where the battery would go. So we'll undo that. We've got one connector here that goes across this panel. This panel's screwed in with one screw at the back. I'll lift that off. It's a door for the PCM CIA. To get that screw out. Which won't come. There we go. There's a washer there. Don't know where that came from. So I will leave this in here. That's a sort of rubberized door that doesn't work very well. That's loose. This is, oh, that's battery. So that needs to come out. Effectively, we want to release this board, which is held down mainly by its connector here. So I think this is now friction. So let's try and lever this up. Just very gently and lever it on this loose there. The PCM-CIA has these two blue ejectors which hold the board down. I don't think there's an easy way around that other than just trying to direct it right as you lift it. So there's a screw there. Screwdriver. So that's the middle of the main board. Let's see how loose this is now. What you want to see is, here we go, if those release holes are loose, it should come loose. Now when I did this before, I took all those out, but I didn't think I needed to. Maybe I do. Let's see. Here's the sticky labels holding it down. Oh, the sticky label is right. Okay, they need to come out. Right. Let's take out the bolts on the back for the connectors. I don't think all of them need to come out. I think it's this RF shield here is going through some of these bolts. The dock ones are longer. Right, let's see if that's any looser. That's connected still through the hole. And then we have the CMOS battery there. It's also dead. Okay, I don't think I needed to undo those. I'm going to put the two ends back in just to give it a bit of stability. Right, so that's the main board. Come back to that in a minute. Now we can see floppy. Maybe I got this the wrong way around because I can see a Canon chip there. So probably the bottom one is power for the printer, and the top one is power, maybe some battery management and stuff for the whole thing, or the laptop. So this one, I think it just lifts off. It's got two connectors at this end. Seems, there we go. Fucking hard, and a little one this end. So actually two long ones and two little ones. There's another. And finally we have one at the bottom here. So we've got one screw here. Another one. It looks like it wants me to take the floppy out. That's sitting on top. So floppy was held on one there. One there, and one there. should lift out. Why does that feel like there's one more? Oh, so this hard drive one sitting on top of it. So let's take the sled, or whatever you call it, to guide the hard drive in. One and two. So floppy, hard drive sled, and 5 screws holding it in. Is this loose now? Oh, that standoff thing is also bolting this board down. So that is bottom DC. There we go. So there's the base. Go to one side. There's the top, which I'm not going to dismantle that any further. I think at some point this rubber coating is going sticky, so I may well have a go at stripping that back. It's got about 3 layers of rubber and plastic, and you can usually easily take the top one off with eucalyptus oil. Hopefully he's taking it back to the second layer, but I haven't tried yet, so I'm probably gonna hope not to ruin one. Anyway, that's the keyboard, the top, and we're left with 3 boards. So these work at the moment. What I've got is a second unit here that doesn't work, and what I'm going to do is recap all of this. Well, I'm going to recap it once I've done some trial and error with the other one. So I'm going to strip the other one down to pieces again as well, and then I'm going to put these 3 boards together, and hopefully if I can work out what the power switch is, these have a power switch on the back. If I can wire that power switch back in and then connect it to an external VGA, I should be able to fire this up as it stands, bare, and then switch out the 3 components from this one to see which one is the problem. Hopefully it's just one. Anyway, that's the strip down. If I can be bothered, I will film again putting it back together. Cheers.